So today I want to talk about why I think as a creative I thrive in solitude and how solitude and isolation are drastically different for me, and also how I've seen other people respond to the idea of isolation and solitude. I'm not here to talk about how different I am. I know that it's gonna sound like that, but it's really not like that. And I'm just really just getting my thoughts out there. Honestly, just talking from a place of experience. I'm also gonna try to talk as unbiased as I can here. But what I mean by why I feel like I thrive as a creative in isolation or solitude, I've always kind of been a loner, but never a popular one. When I was in school, like I did not have friends. Like I had friends, but those were people I sat at lunch with, and they wanted answers off all of my papers because I was a smart kid. I was a nerd. I hung out with them maybe once or twice throughout my entire like grade school childhood. Like I really do not remember hanging out with them like that. Everybody from my high school didn't really hang out with them like that. So because of that and the way my childhood was structured, I've always kind of been alone, and just kind of turned to my creative practices in response to that. Definitely, probably a trauma thing. It definitely is a trauma thing, 100%. But I'm definitely moving past that wound now. I've taken the time to explore and be more social. I've had friendships, relationships, just like getting out there, putting myself out there. And I've always found myself returning to my creative passion. I've always thought this would be like a trauma thing, but I'm starting to really understand who I am, not only as a creative, but as an individual. And that my ambition and what I want for myself is something I have to fulfill to some degree, or I'm just discontent for my entire life. Like, I genuinely believe if I don't do anything like this for the next 20 years, I'm going to be thinking about doing this for the next 20 years. And whatever happens to me happens. I think that as a creative, if I'm not thriving through my solitude, then I can't thrive in it at all. I can't be a creative and have 20 different friends coming over every day, and like that's just not me, you know. And it's not to talk down on anyone who is capable of that type of thing. If you are capable of working in an environment like that, that's great. But I think as an ambitious creative person, I use a lot of metaphors, but I feel like the idea of what I want for myself isn't just about fame or money or greatness. It's about legacy. And I'm trying to build a house of legacy. I think everybody's trying to build their own house of something. But what I've noticed about a lot of similar creative people is that when it comes down to really putting down the bricks to build whatever they want to build, there is a obligation after putting down the first brick to put down another one and another one and another one, and you follow the floor plan of what you're building. And sometimes you have hiccups and you have slip ups, but most of the time, people have a lack of conviction, a lack of commitment to building what they want. For example, today there's a guy, my roommate. He kind of opened up to me about his whole creative process and what he's really into, and he has some talent. He does. He has some VFX talent. He showed me the stuff he was making, and he also invited me tonight to this club that Disney, I guess like the Disney other like internshippers go to, and I was like, I might go, but I'm obviously not there. I'm here. So in my mind, I'm like, like it's just like, what's the purpose behind that? Like, what's the point behind me going? There's no point, at least in my opinion. Like, I get it. It's a place of camaraderie, companionship. You can get a whole bunch of girls, whatever. But it's like it's never been something I've cared about. And for him, like he said something very interesting in our conversation that kind of took me aback as somebody who loves to dwell into their creative practices. And he was like, yeah, like when I have nothing else to do, I just, edit my videos, I write my scripts. And I'm like, wait, like when you have nothing else to do, what does that mean? Do you wait? Like, you don't make time for this? It's just, it creeps up on you because you're bored. So what other things creep up on you when you're bored? Like that was coming through my mind. And I also realized a lot of things to get in my way just because I'm bored, per se. And I'm not clean of that. I'm not no saint. I'm not no creative like Machiavelli or Renaissance man. I obviously have had free time that I have not been using wisely, because otherwise y'all would have seen or heard from me before. But that's not to say that his process should be mine or my process should be his in terms of growing into a creative person. But I feel like why I thrive so much alone is like I have not the time I've spent to grow. grow socially, be extroverted, I have not been by myself. I can say that truthfully. I haven't spent the time to just be with my thoughts. And now that I'm with my thoughts, when I do get time to be with my thoughts, when I do let my thoughts roll out, they always circle back to the same thing. My ambition, my creative practice is what I'm not doing, what I really want, what I'm drawn to do every day. And while I'm out here trying to build myself up into the person I want to be, I was also this idea of building myself into the creative man I want to be and the impact I want to leave when I leave my mark on this earth. Like, I don't want to just be some dude that was a coulda, shoulda, woulda. This gonna sound messed up, but when I watch like crime shows or I hear something about a crime show, because there's people in my family who watch crime shows all the time, and I'll hear about the person that got murdered, and they're like, "Oh, they had all this potential." I do not want to be that person. Not to say like rest in peace to those people, but it's like I don't want to be the guy that could have. Oh, he could have done this. He was this. He had all this going for him. That's everybody and their mama. Like, everybody has potential, but not everybody executes on their potential. Not everybody takes the cement and the bricks and puts down what they need to put down to build what they want to build for themselves. That's not me. So I feel like in solitude, I thrive so much there because there's no other choice that I think I have to make that isn't my own. Like, I have friends. I communicate with them when I want. That sounds messed up, but it's the truth. I respond when I want. Like, it's not this obligation, this drive for me to respond to you, because there's a sense of urgency in my nervous system and my emotional regulation hasn't wired itself to believe not responding to you isn't okay. I don't have to deal with that. That's just how I am. And I realize some people aren't wired like that. Some people are genuinely wired to like have a safety net around camaraderie. That's not me. I like, it's cool to have people that you mess with, and it's cool to have people that you know, like, you're cool, you talk to every day. But me personally, like, I don't need that. Like, I don't even want that. That sounds a little distracting to me. The idea that I'm supposed to hanging out with you, I'm supposed to hang out with you, talk to you on a scheduled time or on your time or whatever time makes you feel better, when the idea that that could get in the way of my creative practice is just like, I can't rock with that. So for the next topic, to dwell into that, go further, I definitely want to talk about also, like, how I've noticed why I feel like other creative people who don't know how to tap into that side of themselves, like this, I think this idea of camaraderie is a human nature thing. It's human nature for human beings need are social creatures. That's not a lie. Even with me, somebody who's considered antisocial, nonchalant, whatever you want to label me as, and I'm also like a loner. I'm always by myself, whatever. Even with that, I still feel like there's still people who I've noticed and I've peeped that still find a way to like find camaraderie, but not the type of camaraderie where it's like, oh, they found themselves and friends. It's like, no, their friends are their identity. Like, they literally have to have these people because these people validate who they think they are. Like, I don't want that, and I've never needed that. I've never needed a group of yes men or a group of yes women to be like, this is who Brandon thinks he is. This is who he is, period. Like, I've never have had to have that group of people in my life. Like, I don't need that. My idea of reassurance of who I know I am or who I know myself to be come is starting to come from my actions, to be honest. And there's a type of security you get from putting down the bricks, putting down the work. Me filming this video is me putting down a brick. If I do this every day, I just get reps up every day. There's no difference between who I think I am as a content creator and who I am. There's no gap. It's just closed at that point because I have so much evidence to back up this is what I'm doing, this is who I know I am to be. And a lot of people get a rush and a high out of believing they are their or could be their identities. That's not me. I'm not people. I can't get down with that. I can't get with it. I'm sorry. It's just internally, bro, there's always going to be a discontent within me to be like, there's no, like there has to be a disconnect internally. And I feel like that disconnect is either blindsided or smoothed over by the idea of camaraderie, the idea that you're accepted by this group of people, because while you might think you're a creative person and you know yourself to be one, you know you're not laying down the foundation that your higher self would like you to. So you're putting down a brick and maybe then some, and you're turning and looking at the neighbor and like, hey, look at the bricks I'm laying down. And they're like, yeah, we see it. And they clap and they come, they all applaud you, they acknowledge your growth with whatever it may be, but it's never genuine because for one, you're not laying down as many bricks as you could, and you're also not really committing to the craft. There's this disconnect between you and your craft, really, and I think a lot of people struggle with that. I think a lot of people a lot of people, especially some people with lots of potential who are creatives, will always choose camaraderie and company over discipline and growth and building something. Building something takes time. It takes effort. It takes nights where you were alone for the 1900th time that month and you have nothing to show for it. It just takes time. It's not a lottery ticket, but it's like digging for gold. It's something that it takes time to build. There's different ways to dig for gold, but people don't want to do the gritty work. They don't want to do the hard stuff. They don't want to put down their foot on their dream, put the foot on the pedal, and just go, and just like choose that over everything. Like choosing that over everything. It seems easy at first. It's taking me some time. I think I really genuinely need this environment to pick it, and I kind of relate to those people because it's taking me some time to have to be like, this is what I want. This is who I am. This is who I'm going to be. And this is what I know I need to do for myself in order to get to where I want to get to. The disconnect always comes in where there's this intrinsic idea that human beings are only valuable with the idea there's a measurement of camaraderie that comes with each human being. Like, where does the idea or the originality come from of the loner's weird? The guy who's by himself has to have something wrong with him because he's the odd one out. And why is it that being alone is considered something wrong? Like what's wrong with not wanting or needing camaraderie? Like what's wrong with not needing company? Like since when has socializing ever like socializing is a human is a thing that humans value? Like yeah, value obviously, but like individualistically, like you're telling me a human being's only valuable to you based on how much company they keep? Why is that a measurement? Why is it that my amount of friends on Facebook or Snapchat equates to how many people actually want to be my friend? Why is it my Instagram followers or however many people I get or however many people like my photos and comment commoderates how valuable of a person I am in whatever category you want to fit that value number into? And I think that the idea that you still follow that measurement system as a creative is what blocks a lot of creative people. You don't follow that system no more. That system's gone. It doesn't work anymore. It doesn't fit your bill. You can't afford to pay with those type of coins or that type of dollar bill anymore. Your value comes from how much work are you willing to put in to lay down those bricks. And I think personally that I'm starting to really understand and see that shift in me. It's about laying down the bricks. And sometimes the bricks weigh differently. They're heavy. Sometimes they come with a lot of baggage that you might not be willing to talk about. And that's okay. But I don't think a lot of people are ready for that. And I think I'm starting to find myself to be ready for that. But that's all I have for today. If you are ever thinking about, being alone, you're like, oh, this is bogus, I need to go find friends, but you know you need to be making a video, getting in those reps, going to that lift, writing that paper, writing that poem, drawing in that sketchbook, painting, making that music, knitting, whatever it is that you do. Come back and watch this video as a creative person, as somebody who can express themselves through a form of art. Realize there's a duty for you to call to your higher self, pay them attention, and love them as you would if they did get the same commodity you think is oh so valuable to go seek from others, because that would make you valuable in the eyes of those same people. But yeah, but like I said, I always say, I mean, look, that's just me though.